Imagine taking a DNA test to learn more about yourself, only to end up worrying that police will bust into your house because you're now a prime suspect in a murder investigation. That's a true story, and as someone who works with genetic testing data every day, I can tell you it's just one of many ways DNA testing can completely wreck your life if you're not careful. Today, I'll show you 6 terrifying real world scenarios where people's lives were turned upside down by misleading results, data leaks, or misunderstood reports, so you can avoid making the same mistakes. Let's get into it. Meet Susan. After hearing her aunt had breast cancer, she decided to take an at home genetic test just to be safe. A few weeks later, her results came in. She carried a BRCA1 mutation, one that is linked to an extremely high risk of breast and ovarian cancer. Her heart dropped. Within days, she was sitting in her doctor's office, terrified. Over the next few weeks, she went through scans, consultations, and even discussions about preventative surgery. But months later, when her doctor ordered confirmatory testing from a clinical grade lab, the truth came out. Susan didn't have a BRCA1 mutation at all. The at-home test had been wrong. Imagine months of fear, sleepless nights, and invasive medical testing, only to find out it was a false alarm caused by a false positive genetic variant. Most at-home genetic tests like 23andMe or self-decode use genotyping, a method that looks at a few common variants across your DNA. While it's cheap and fast, it's not comprehensive and sometimes produces low-quality data that the companies don't report on, but is available for the consumer. When users, without formal training, dig into the raw data, they sometimes uncover false variants that look dangerous but aren't real. I've seen countless people go on wild goose chases, chasing down genetic mutations that later turn out to be lab artifacts. And it's not just anecdotal. One study found that up to 40% of variants identified in consumer DNA tests were false positives when reanalyzed in certified labs. Now, to be fair, things are improving. Newer at-home tests that use whole exome or whole genome sequencing can achieve clinical-grade accuracy for variant detection. But the buyer must still be aware, because most of these companies lack the expertise to interpret what those rare variants actually mean, sometimes overstating risk, other times missing it entirely. The moral of the story is that when at-home tests show something serious, always follow up the results with your medical provider, and ideally, confirm the results through a clinical laboratory before taking any medical action. Erica's story is almost the mirror opposite of Susan's. Erica had a strong family history of cancer. Her mother, aunt, and grandmother were all diagnosed with sarcomas before age 50. She wanted peace of mind fast, so she ordered a popular at-home DNA test. The results said low risk for cancer. So she relaxed, figuring she'd beaten family history. But years later, she felt the lump. She rushed to the doctor and eventually had a diagnosis of stage 2 breast cancer. A follow-up clinical sequencing test revealed something that the at-home test missed: a pathogenic TP53 mutation, part of the Li-Fraumeni syndrome spectrum, one of the most serious hereditary cancer syndromes known. Turns out, her at-home test missed the TP53 mutation. When a test misses an important finding, it's a false negative result, and they are just as alarming as false positive results. Consumer tests like 23andMe and self-decode only look at a few markers using genotype arrays, which cover less than 0.02% of the genome. They don't detect most rare variants, copy number changes, or structural rearrangements that can significantly raise the risk for disease. One study found that at-home tests can miss over 90% of genetic variants in actionable cancer risk genes. But no test is perfect, and in rare cases, even clinical labs can miss a mutation. One notable reason for missing variants is mixing up samples. While this is rare, it can and does happen. The FDA, CDC, and other guidelines have made this clear. Direct-to-consumer DNA tests are not medical diagnostics. meaning they're not a substitute for clinical testing. And without professional interpretation, they can create false reassurance that delays critical medical care. These types of scenarios are becoming rare. I must note that these types of scenarios are becoming rare with the technology that direct-to-consumer companies are using today. But if you have a strong family history of disease or suspect you have a rare genetic disease, it's best to skip the direct-to-consumer route and go straight to your medical provider and get clinical-grade testing, ideally with a genetic counselor. Michael Usri's story sounds like a Netflix thriller. A filmmaker from New Orleans known for his dark, violent-themed short films suddenly finds himself accused of murder, all thanks to his DNA. In 2014, police investigating a 1996 Idaho murder used family DNA searching, comparing crime scene DNA to public databases. A partial match led them to Usri's father, who had donated DNA years earlier to a church genealogy project, data later acquired by Ancestry.com. From there, detectives traced the family tree and thought the killer might be Michael Usri Jr. He was interrogated, his DNA swapped, and for weeks he lived under suspicion, until thankfully a forensic lab finally cleared him. Usri's case exposes how DNA from you or your relatives can legally be accessed by law enforcement or the government under certain contexts. This means that even if you never upload your own DNA, a relative's submission can implicate you through shared genetic segments. In fact, this is how the Golden State Killer case was solved in 2018. Police used genealogy data to solve the 40-year-old murder. Police and government officials accessing commercial or healthcare companies' DNA databases has ignited a debate over genetic privacy. And the truth is, de-identified DNA is rarely anonymous. Multiple studies have shown that with just a few markers, it's possible to re-identify individuals from DNA databases. Here's the uncomfortable truth. When you spit in a tube and mail it, you lose your genetic privacy. Even if companies promise to not share your data, there are no federal laws in the US governing what happens if a company gets hacked, sold, or shut down. Privacy breaches, unauthorized resale, and data mining for profit are all real risks. If you value your privacy, make sure you understand the privacy policies of the DNA company you're using. Opt out of data sharing or think twice before uploading your genome to public databases. But all this sounds scary. In the end, if you have nothing to hide, you shouldn't worry about losing your privacy. The matter of fact is that unlike your social security information, thieves can't do much with your genetic information, at least for the moment. Speaking of Netflix shows, the following topic has already had at least one documentary on the platform. Victoria Hill took a DNA test to learn more about her health, but her results went from bad to worse to horrendous. Not only did she find out that the man that raised her wasn't her biological father, she found out that she had over 20 and counting half-siblings. The most horrific part was that she dated one of her half-siblings in high school. It turns out Victoria and her siblings were conceived through the same sperm donor, Dr. Burton Caldwell, something her parents never told her. Dr. Caldwell used his own sperm to inseminate Victoria's mother, allegedly without consent. Sadly, this story isn't unique, because there are many cases where fertility doctors have unethically used their own sperm to father multiple children. And then there are real stories of sperm donors and fertility clinics abusing the system, resulting in dozens of children being born from the same fathers. It's estimated that consumer DNA tests have led to over 100,000 unexpected family discoveries, from secret adoptions to infidelity and donor conceptions. Direct-to-consumer companies promote these tests as fun or recreational, but few people are emotionally prepared for what they might uncover. Learning you're not biologically related to your parents or siblings can cause lasting psychological harm, not just for you, but for your family. If you're doing a test out of curiosity, understand that you may uncover family relationship and health information you can't undo. If you're not ready for that possibility, make sure you know what your test results will show. Talk to a counselor who can help you process the results or skip testing altogether. George ordered a DNA test on a whim. He wanted to know if he was genetically gifted for sports, or maybe discover a few health tips. But buried deep in his raw data, he found something that shattered him: a PSEN1 mutation, a gene strongly linked to early onset Alzheimer's disease. He was only 37 years old, and suddenly his future looked terrifying. He became obsessed, reading every paper, every statistic, calculating how many years of independence and cognitive capability he might have left. He couldn't sleep, couldn't focus, and began to spiral into depression. DNA results aren't just data, they're psychological bombs if not taken in appropriate context or misinterpreted. Many people lack the training to distinguish a benign variant from a pathogenic one, and many DTC platforms present information without context. Studies have shown that unexpected disease findings from genetic testing can trigger long-term anxiety, family conflict, survival's guilt, or even fatalism, the feeling that your fate is sealed. Without professional guidance, you can misinterpret probabilities as certainties. That's why most genetics professionals and health bodies recommend that all health-related genetic results be discussed with a licensed genetic counselor, ideally before testing and after getting your results. Bill thought he was doing the responsible thing. He got genetic testing to better understand his family's heart disease risk. His results showed a mutation in the LDLR gene that raised his risk of familial hypercholesterolemia, a disease that dramatically raises the risk of premature heart disease. But when he applied for life insurance, he was denied coverage because of that genetic result, even though he was perfectly healthy. This is genetic discrimination, when your genetic information is used against you. In the US, the Genetic Information Non-Discrimination Act, or GINA, prevents self-insurers and employers from using your DNA against you. Many countries around the world have similar laws or conventions to prevent genetic discrimination, such as the Genetic Non-Discrimination Act in Canada and the European Charter of Fundamental Rights. While they generally prohibit employers and service providers from requesting or using your genetic data, they typically do not cover life insurance, disability, or long-term care. Ideally, before getting any DNA test, think carefully about timing. It may be wise to secure life or disability insurance before you test. But know that even if you choose not to proceed with genetic testing, insurance providers can ask you about your family medical history, which in most cases can enable them to infer risk from your family tree. Although genetic testing can be powerful, as Uncle Ben would say, with great power comes great responsibility. Here are some of your responsibilities before getting DNA testing. First, know what kind of technology is being used. Understand the difference between what genotyping, whole exome sequencing, and whole genome sequencing is, and their strengths and limitations. Most DTC tests analyze a few hundred or thousand markers out of the over 6 billion letters that make up your genome. Also, understand what the test results can reveal. Find out what type of results are provided and whether this information can be used to improve your health outcomes, known as clinical utility. Also, find out the extent to which the genetic test accurately detects or predicts a specific disease or trait, known as clinical validity. Don't make preemptive medical decisions without medical provider input, and ideally, confirm findings in a clinical grade lab. Protect your privacy. Read the fine print for the tests you're getting and opt out of data sharing. And seek genetic counseling. Before and after testing, talk to a licensed healthcare professional who can interpret your results in context of family history, lifestyle, and environment. Genetic testing isn't the villain here. It's the misuse, misunderstanding, and misinterpretation that turns a tool for health into a source of harm. Used correctly and by the right person, it can help you prevent, delay, or prepare for disease, which in turn can help you live longer, healthier, and smarter. But used carelessly or by the wrong person, it can cause unnecessary fear, financial loss, and lifelong consequences. So before you send off your sample, make sure you know what you're really signing up for. Watch this video to see why whole genome sequencing may be the single most powerful step you can take for your health and longevity. If you found this helpful, give this video a like and subscribe for more deep dives on how DNA can help you live healthier and longer.